Why ena ebe lead the NDC amanyokuo no in the next election, which is the 2028 election?
Her Excellency Jenana Opoku Ajiman, Johnson Asidun Ketia, National Chairman NDC, Haruna Idrisu, Minister of Education, Dr. Atufosin, Minister of Finance, Honorable Julius Debra, Chief of Staff.
My never answer my PENDREAM TV. PENDREAM TV there, or see them, yopo.
The Constitution of Ghana no, emma any presidential and as a democratic elected president be as obeko 2 terms. Now after 2 terms no, we need akwanya say obeko ebie. Now this time here, President John Dramani Mahama no the second term, which is after this term no ontimi enkobi. Ono akasa ejina on multiple platforms say enya ade a obeko as president say utwa term we ewia. Now edin ahodo bebre abetoja in the NDC party. Yeah, they are likely to be, and I say it is likely say emu baako ebe lead the NDC amanyokuro, which is none other, and I say edin yeah abetoja be the general secretary, the mastermind behind the 2024 victory of the general election, which is Chairman General Johnson Asidun Ketia, Haruna Idrisu, Chief of Staff Julius Debra, Okujeto Ablakwa, Afensono, Yen Vice President Jenana Opoku Ajiman, a fantastic leader, me respecting very much, and I think she is one of the people's favorites. Now, Edi Ahudo Ekaho, let's narrow our discussion to these names are Mapopono. Chairman General Asidun Ketia Ekopie Ewo Channel 1 TV. Omo program back one your friend face to face and no interviews are granted enkofo. Now within the interview space and I said abra omode omunko twetwen eba awie no ye bisa Chairman General Asidun Ketia say are you running for president na tie anu year or the ma host na obisa no sa question.
I'm sitting down and you're asking me whether I'm running.
Are you, running,
you see me sitting down.
Are you running for the flag bearership of your party?
Let's get to the when we get to the.
Oh, we are almost there. Oh.
We are not there yet.
President Mama is not running again.
The party has not declared anything. But you see, I've been monitoring this whole discussion about who is running and who is not running for presidency on the ticket of NDC, and I keep repeating my caution that we have to be very, very careful about the way we express our ambitions. Whoever succeeds President Mahama will ride on the achievements of the current government. So in your effort to succeed President Mahama, if you conduct yourself in ways that will disrupt the activities of this government in ways that will make the government less successful, then you have a bigger problem even when you become a flag bearer. So that is why I have been cautioning that let us wait till the time. President Mahama is only about 8 months in office now. And you want to struggle to decide who will replace him. You know what it can cause.
What can it cause?
All the names we are hearing, including my own name, they are all occupying very sensitive positions in party and government. If all of us decide today that, well, people say I can be president, so let me start organizing, then everybody will be going across the country appointing campaign coordinators here, there, and so on. How do you think that President Mahama can keep party and government together and focus to achieve anything? If you are a minister and you are overtaken by your desire to be a president,
you won't perform as minister.
Yes, you perform. Everything you do will be to satisfy your ambition as a minister. And in our situation, it is worse because you hear about a chief of staff also being mentioned. So if it turns out to be true, the chief of staff is establishing his structures, making monies to prepare for election. His ministers working under him are doing the same thing.
Yeah, his chairman.
And his chairman too is doing the same thing. How would President Mahama be able to put these things together?
President Mahama he'll be naked.
So if we are naked and we destroy the government less than a year into the President Mahama's regime, how is anybody who eventually succeeds going to have sufficient basis to tell Ghanaians that?
Any I would say the chairman general of the NDC, Amanyoko, the mastermind behind 2024 NDC's victory in the general election. This summer or the atuja about the ambitions to lead the party. Now you to a question or say, are you running in 2028 election? Now this is a question he was supposed to answer with a yes or a no. Nemum say we leader, na say would a don manima. In certain critical situations, you don't directly voice out, even if you have that intention. And that is why I commend Asiedu Nketia in this situation. If he has commented, say, yes, may call na obia time chia at the divisions and affairs no matime wakame ebeba party no tsania yehu in the MPP Amanyoko. And I'm commending Chairman General Asiedu Nketia for this fantastic answer or the tuja in the interview. Now, how to add so or try say, so we a minister be, we a MPB, we a executive be not so presidential ambition. Australia was say, young supported President John Dramani Mahama now achieving the presidential ambition and no the greater goal because I will be a flag bearer. That is what you are going to campaign on. And no ever propel for the victory in the 2028. If the party no edutum nasa yedoba in the 2028 general election. Now eno kodano Haruna Idrisu. One of the ministers, I really respect him. We show the humility. And one day here or the year ejuma, any affairs on any contributions why in the Ghanaian politics or no so bisano. Say, do you have a presidential ambition? And I say, who be the MP NDC Amanyoko in 2028 as a flag bearer. Now also Emma Anuye ya me person become home na yakoti and sema okane.
Would you like to be president someday? I mean, your name seems to come up quite.
I thought that today we should be discussing.
We will discuss it, but I mean, since this is, let's just deal with this. Let's just deal with this. Would you like to be someday?
I don't know my tomorrow, but I'll serve this country in any capacity as I'm already doing.
But you have dreams and aspirations.
It is not only in the office of the president that you can contribute to the public good or the distribution of public goods and services. I should thank those persons who find my person fit to want to be president or want to run for president or want to support it for president. But God's time, as I've always said.
But would you like to be president someday? I
thought that this is to be answered by God. If I live to see tomorrow and live to see the future will determine what I do with my life. But at least I've acquired what is basically necessary to be able, as I've always said, to keep my eye on the ball.
Haruna Idrisu Eka assembly during the vetting, and answer during the vetting. Okay, say the tortoise will ride an elephant. Now, answer a question be a phenomarking a trauma during the vetting. Now, and was another fantastic reply about the presidential ambitions. Yebitana say, Ube leading NDC Amanyoko as their presidential Ube leading NDC Amanyoko in 2028 election. Yeah, what I say. This is a question to be left by to be answered by God, and as a true Muslim, that is how he is supposed to answer, because a gramophone yejidi and say nyamenkwa ena yenim nyamenkwa na yenim yendache nyamenkwa na yenim de wahwehwe amaye nyamenkwa ena enim ochena asem. Though you were plans, but Allah is the best plan. And you know, Haruna Idrisu say or best serve Ghana in any capacity bia yade beman. Now Global Info Analytics is one of the reputed and one of the Global Info Analytics one of the posters are omo Ghana ha. Oma bekasa. Why ena lead NDC amanyuko in the 2028 election. Na utie ensem ne wia fa wadwentre share comment section ho emedi atem ye no constructively why ena wosusu say obe lead the NDC amanyuko no in 2028. Yentie Musa Dankwah.
Yo, about Global Info Analytics 2025. We did the Musa Dankwah. I'm head of research and polls our Global Info Analytics. And that year be church NDC for race no kakra. See the race in the economy. We ain't delegate. There be we ain't delegate. It be sa Ghana for say among country. When isusu say only the NDC after John Mahama. We ain't delegate. We a man for and omochira omadwin. Nti the results no PENDREAM and pay. You release poll no last Monday or so, but then amanya akwanya may be the tree version ma a man for atiasi. If some man for Ghana Hagina, and any pabe 9,500 anything kita. Well Ghana Hagina in about 83 constituencies. Na inom dinkita. And if some say why na e fata say nka obedi the MDC after Mahama. Ibisa emu nearly 29.8% and 30% say Haruna Idrisu, Minister of Education. Emu 24% say Johnson Asedun Ketia, National Chairman NDC. Emu 18% say Dr. Atufosin, Minister of Finance. Emu 10% say Honorable Julius Debra, Chief of Staff. Emu 8% say Honorable Ablakwa Samuel, Minister of Foreign Affairs. Emu 2.5% say Honorable Eric Opoku, Minister for Agric. Emu 2.2% say Professor Joshua Alabi, Board Chairman, GCB. And 2% say Ama Kofi Bua, Minister for Lands and Natural Resources. And 1.6% say Kwame Iwadako, former boss, and MD, and Dr. Spio Gabra, a former ambassador and a minister of, I think, education some time back, and only 1.1%. Honorable Okovandapoy, former mayor of Accra, 0.1%. We a amount for Adrian Omo the Chile, we NDC delegate. Delegate Omadwin could be different. Yankasubim delegate no. Omadwin could be different. But if your preferences in July no more hefa, I feel more he. If you much said 100 risu or cost 3% between July and September. I said in Kitia echo form 2%. At the forcing echo form 4%. Debra Julius and also call form 1%. A Blackwa answer. And omo it don't become hono almost 4% every bidamon chain. To fear at the force and name General Mosquito and Debra numbers no echo form. Don't want echo in the phone idea it don't become reason no and I be so called Haruna Idrisu chain. Now, Oshe NDC for some year NDC supporters, NDC for why not almost support no. Enfini say NDC teacher for no a cheater for no 25% support to Asedun Ketia, 33% support to Haruna Idrisu, 20% support to Atufosin, 7% support to Debra, and another 7% support to Ablakwa. Inti NDC for Kwano see and Omadwin Chile. Now we blocks no see the MP before block no. We hear the same blocks no if an account block no. Account block what the Mosquito 29% and ye Haruna Bium any lead or account block no there be a Mosquito 29%. At to forcing no 18 no. Account block no over 21%. Haruna na over 30 no. Account block no over 20%. Julius Debra now over 10 no. Account block no over 14%. Ablakwa na owo 8 no in the Akam block no or 7%. Mayor up to this point, main core because the numbers near just 2% or below. Over the northern block no Haruna ewo 59%. General Nasedun Ketia ewo 17%. Atu Forcing ewo 9%. Ablakwa 4%. And Julius Debra 3%. So in the northern block no top 5 no any Haruna 59%, Asedun Ketia 17%, Atu Forcing 9%, Ablakwa 4%, Julius Debra 3%. Uba voter block no Ablakwa ene leading 29%. Haruna ewo 18% ewo ho. Atu Forcing ewo 13%. General Mosquito ewo 12%. Ena Julius Debra ewo 7%. Ewo voter and voting block.
Now, there are some regions in Ghana which is very critical. A bit to me are determined say a candidate will win an election. Now, this is a fantastic outcome. Global Info Analytics Ediabetuja. Yeah, there is one particular candidate in the NDC, Amanyokona. He stands unique in these swing regions. And I think, say, the NDC, Amanyokono, the mastermind, the game player, the senior man, Chairman General Asiedu Nketia, should factor and sema Musa Dankwah Kano. Na onfan share cage mu babi. Na edru ebra ewase or visited sa and sebwe na or the year Juma. He shouldn't forget this messenger Musa Dankwah of Global Info Analytics Kano. Na yenti results from that swing regions.
But the over swing regions no swing no Greater Accra, Western region and Central region. We regions are critical for you to win the elections. Hono why na lead? Haruna lead bium 29%. Ena Atu Forcing 27%. Asedun Ketia 22%. Julius Debra 7%. Ablakwa 6%. Into here in the swing regions no Haruna Idrisu again, but Atu Forcing from 3rd to 2nd, Mosquito from 2nd to 3rd, and Debra 4th, and Ablakwa 5th. So that race at the end no and society. So this is the race NDC for Omochre Omajwing Achre. Now Oshe see the NDC race no kwa in terms of amount for Adwin, when you delegate amount for Omochre Omajwing. Obehu say account for vote no as split among plenty accounts. Atu Forcing account for 18%. Asedun Ketia account 24%. Debra account 10%. Erikopoku account 2.5%. Amabua account 2%. Erikopoku Kofi 1.6% account. Account for no as kata ewo race no. Enona ama dominantly Haruna Idrisu lead at the moment. Say amount for free muna ya aligning race no e be say race no e be look a bit different among general voters. We Maminka Susi Maminka Bium and NDC delegate. Aba Omokotu in 2017 Ombe Omlida no and yet Ghana for Enebeto a NDC delegate. It do appropriate time yet the NDC delegate 4 years of Ebetuja. I feel and too early for us to do that. But time no soon, not if you say time no draw. Ebema Mohu NDC for delegate no and he fan and omu adwin ewo. Say when you video here, video who just like it, comment and share it. We enye ntokwa we amount for our omuchire omadwin. Yemfa we enko ntokwa. Me that's it.
Now Musa Dankwah ede nesem to Jano or Tresem, we a man for a dream. A man for now or more grounds or a man for or more grassroots. Ghana for or more the various constituency or more a dream. Name this is not from any delegates obeto aba in the presidential election NDC conducted in the coming years. And it shouldn't serve as a distraction to the NDC amanyoko no. Send your one NDC communicator be on Angel FM. Nedino aske pemekakra na kwashe global info analytics omupua omodebeto dwam. Na nipa krono stresses Abino is just few months in government, and this form of pool no a distraction to governance. Musa Dankwah reply say this is the people's mind. Their job is to conduct pool, to take people's opinion on the grounds, not feeding to the public.
Over the past week, we have received some criticisms about the polls, particularly on the NDC one, and in particular regarding the exclusion of Her Excellency Jinana Opoku Ajiman from the race, which a decision I personally took, and I take full responsibility for that. That was based on our own internal calculations, but following the numerous calls, we will reintroduce Jinana Opoku in the race in a subsequent poll. But in doing so, again, we would also cap the numbers of people we mentioned by name. So if you don't get, or you're not getting 5% of the vote, at least 5% of the overall vote, we will not single out your name in the survey. We will put, however, an option for someone else. So if all the options we've given you is not what you want, you prefer as a voter, then you have the choice to select someone else. Now, what we will do is that when you pick someone else, we will then ask you to name who that someone else is. And at the end of the day, we will be able to analyze how many times has that someone else appeared, and we will see what proportion of the votes that person gets. If that equates to 5% of the sample, we will bring that person in the report by saying that the someone else X% relates to this person. The long list is not helping us in the field, and we don't even believe that some of them are viable. So this is what we're going to do. Also, in doing that, I believe that the dynamics of 2028 elections is a bit different in the sense that the demography will play a very key role. So for the NDC race, we will insert Professor Jinana Opoku in the first option. But for those who select her as their preference, we'll ask them a follow-up question. Assuming Professor Jinana is not able to contest or does not contest the race in 2027 or so for the NDC, who would you vote for? So we want to see how people who were preferring her in the first instance will shift their votes to other candidates, so we can analyze that result better. That way, we would be able to see the effect of her presence in the race and the effect of her absence in the race. This will give us an insight which would inform us as to how the race would unfold going forward. As we've mentioned it again, we are not starting NDC delegate race yet. No, we have a lot of time. We're going to wait for a very long time for the political activity to kickstart, at least when they start electing their grassroots. From that point, we will determine whether we should start the NDC delegates or not. Or what we may have to do is to wait until they have finished the grassroots elections, and then we can start. But the option is ours. We'll decide how we go about doing the NDC polls going forward. It is not for any officer of NDC or any government officials to tell us how to do our work. And so for any person in MPP or whoever to tell us how a pollster does his work. Posters are independent. Posters that are corporate, that are organizations like ours are independent, and we don't get told how to do our work. We are circumspect in some of the things that people are saying. However, the distraction should not be coming from the polls. Anybody who is in government must focus on their agenda and on their mandate and not on the polls. It is not the polls that will get you elected to lead NDC. It is your contribution to the government of the day that will give you the bragging right or the right to seek people's mandate. So our work will continue. We'll continue to be independent and serve you with data and data only. No biases, no preferences, no manipulation of any data. Thank you very much and have a good day.
Musa Dankwah ede nensem aba ewiye na okatre NDC amanyoko no anasa the NDC appointees is a focus ye wadwuma o contribution na obeye e wo party ni o contribution na ode bebre the NDC anasa the government of President John Dramani Mahama and be determined say we will lead a party no in the 2028 election anasa one lead party no name of enye pool na a global info analytics to journal and no and a Musa Dankwah to journal. Now me name dear kakra me war and said there is one thing which NPP did, yeah, a hante Bawumia, and it has affected him and it will continue to affect him because it has already happened. So we share in the previous administration and I said Nana Dankwah akufado na mamuma. Bibi ani atra Bawumia said J nako kain ko nako ma speedway ko nako kasa ko nako yewe. Sometimes and sema okana ebi wo ho a I don't want to call it lies, but ultimately who said it was Niena Okano was different from the reality, which has really affected him. Yeah, and even MPP gurus are running away, and as some are running away from choosing Bawumia as their flag bearer. And this is what I want to tell the leadership of NDC Amanyokuno. There are certain people, they have the capacity, they are ripe, they are the people's choice. Yeah, Mubetimi Ede Omo Alidi NDC Amanyokuno in the 2028 election. Yeah, Ombe Bremu to me. Mbenya victory, Monsabe can't resource amope. Sankofuano, take very good care of them. And throw that kind of speech in Nankampese, would the ama obi, talk less of that candidate now. Oya ripe, say obe leading o party no in the 2028 election no. And I repeat again, Mamun throw that speech in Nankampese, mo the ama obi, Nankampese, akoye nipakrona, Yesusu say obetimi alidi the NDC Amanyokuno in the 2028. Send ya beya. Say Ochinabi, sa candidate na oya ripe in Niwa, Nipa Fufro. He might be the hot cake, the people's choice. Say that person no obia ene or kind those kind of speech no, then the reputation, the integrity, and the affairs no, the ratings forma. Who will you choose to lead the party? Who per se will take party no emuda? It is when your party is in power. Yeah, the answer no ebesoha. Subscribe to the channel, bell notification no, na share ma afofro ensa enkebi. Comment section ho nowadays wadwen chaba. In your honest opinion, why and I also say, the people's choice, the best man, the best person to lead the NDC Amanyokuno in the 2028 general election. Afen so no. Do you think say nipa krona wo kana asem no obetimi afesi any candidate MPP Amanyokuno ebeyi no ana for wadwen chere ebra comment section.
Dedi kama amena PENDREAM TV ase. Na so far so good. Say open online portal e wo Ghana. Nipa share, nipa follow, nipa comment here. To my best of knowledge, without any biases, PENDREAM TV.